about to level up.
Hello, 8th graders. You're probably wondering how we're gonna accomplish doing art online. Well, my thought is that I'll do projects that hopefully will keep in mind the resources you might already have at home. So feel free to deviate a little bit from the resources if you need to, but I figure everybody has a ruler or some kind of straight edge, pencils, pens, papers. So I hope I'm not assuming too much. We're gonna start off by learning about linear perspective. We've already been working on that little by little through the years. So you'll remember from last year doing some 1-point perspective, but just a refresher, linear perspective is the way that artists create the illusion of depth in space by the way they arrange elements on the page and by the sizes they use, particularly by using a horizon line, at least one vanishing point, and what's called orthogonals, which is lines that are supposed to be parallel, meaning they never touch each other, but orthogonals meet in the distance in a vanishing point. So I'm gonna refresh you on what that is like. In 1-point perspective, you are facing an object head on. So you're looking at the front face of it. When you're using 1-point perspective, you can just draw the front of the object. You can use horizontal lines, vertical lines, and then all the rest of the lines will recede towards one vanishing point, which is on the horizon. In 2-point perspective, you're looking at an object from the side or kind of from the corner. So you're no longer on the front, you've kind of walked around the object. In 2-point perspective, you can use vertical lines, but all other lines are orthogonals, or in other words, they go towards the vanishing points. And now you have 2 vanishing points on the horizon, one on the far left side of your paper and one on the far right side of your paper. Now I want you to be able to see what this looks like in something a little bit more complex than a cube. So I'm going to show you a couple pictures of drawings that people have done of buildings or of cities. So in the first one, you see a city in 1-point perspective. You're seeing one road that's going to a vanishing point. All the lines of the buildings that would typically be horizontal lines coming off of the side of it are also going to that vanishing point. And when we switch over to see a city in 2-point perspective, you see now that we're standing on the corner of the street, basically, and both sides of the buildings are receding away to different vanishing points. In this picture that I chose, there are actually orthogonals that are drawn in. So you can see what they would look like going all the way to the vanishing point if you were to draw it. For your sketches for this project, you are gonna create a series of boxes to start. We'll start with something fairly simple. I'd encourage you to use a ruler for this set of sketches. So you're gonna start by creating 3 different boxes. The first will be a simple review. You'll be in 1-point perspective. So here's my horizon line. Here's my vanishing point. Because I'm facing the object head on, I can draw the face of the box. You can put it above, below, or right on the vanishing or on the horizon line, it doesn't matter. I'm gonna draw mine above. Imagine I'm using a ruler or a straight edge, please. After I've drawn the front of the box, from each corner that wouldn't overlap the top of the box, I'm drawing an orthogonal right to the vanishing point. I don't do this one because it would cross over the top of the box. After I've done that, I don't want my box to go on infinitely, so I'm gonna draw a line that's parallel to the side. So since this is vertical, it's gonna be vertical. And since that's horizontal, it's gonna be horizontal. And now if I want to, I am free to erase what I call my construction lines. So I have just the box remaining. For 2-point perspective, it's a little bit more tricky. And so I want you to experience doing each type, above, below, or on the vanishing, or on the horizon line. So draw your horizon line again, and this time, you're just gonna draw the corner line, the vertical line of the boxes. So one above, one on, one below. Now you're gonna have 2 vanishing points. one on each side. To the top and bottom, I guess would be the easiest way of each, you are gonna draw an orthogonal that matches the side that you're coming down from. So it doesn't look like a box yet, but we'll get there. Now remember that I can use vertical lines, so that's what I'll do in my next step. Hopefully you'll do this a little more neatly than me. I'm gonna decide where I'm gonna end my boxes by drawing vertical lines. Now I wanna be able to see the bottom of the box, just like I can here. I can see the bottom of the box right there. But I can't just draw a straight line or it won't be a box, it will be a triangle. So I have to use logic to decide which vanishing point I'm gonna use to draw the bottom of the box. If I go this way, it won't work. So I'm going that direction. And for this corner, I'm going that direction. And now I can see the bottom of that box right there. Same thing down low, I'll go here and here to create the top of my box. And here, I can't see either the top or the bottom. So I'm essentially finished with that one already. All I need to do is get rid of some construction lines and we're good to go. Hopefully you can see my boxes right there. Here you'd have to get rid of your horizon line too if you're really gonna do a good job. There we go. So boxes are simple enough. The next thing you'll do for these sketches is to choose one of your initials. It has to have at least one straight line or you're gonna get potentially really frustrated at first. So choose a letter that has at least one straight line in it. I'll show you how to do that and then how to do a curved one. I'll do the letter E really quickly here for 1 point. I'll just kind of draw a bubble letter with hopefully straighter lines than this if you use a ruler. And then off to my side, I'll create my one vanishing point, and every corner that's exposed gets to recede to that vanishing point. It gets its own orthogonal. That one's not very accurate. You'll have to forgive me. There we go. And there's one right there. To cut these off, again, they match the direction. So vertical, horizontal, vertical. Here we go. Oh, I missed one. That's why it looks weird. There we go. And then I would get rid of my construction lines. Now, my 2-point perspective is gonna be a little bit trickier because again, I can only use vertical lines. I'm just gonna get rid of that one so I can draw it nice and big. There's my start. Here are my 2 vanishing points. And every line I draw on this side of the E has to go there or be vertical. That means all the little center lines and everything. Using a ruler will help you in this process. Okay, so now you can see that I'm standing at the corner of the E. I can see all of these lines going off to this side. Now I have to make it look 3-dimensional. So on this side, I go to this vanishing point. I do the left side first, so that's easy enough. But these also are gonna need to go. So you can hold your ruler. I'm just approximating so it won't look quite as good. And you'll kind of get the side lines coming off of the E there. So that when I erase my construction lines, it looks like it has some depth to it, although it looks a little odd because I didn't use a ruler. And those are gonna be the extent of your sketches. If you have a letter with a curve in it, that's okay. For example, if I was gonna do mine, I'd just draw the side. I'd draw myself almost like a cone going to my vanishing point, and I'd use the top of that and draw my, the top of my letter based on that curve. And then you should really draw your vanishing points first so they're not super crooked like mine are. Then I can draw and add a little depth that way. And so it still works, it's just a little harder to use a ruler. So these are gonna be phase 1 of your sketching assignments. I want you to send me a picture of these. You can attach it to an email. Be sure to label it, just 8th grade art sketches or something like that so I know what I'm looking at. And enjoy drawing. Contact me if you have any questions.